On this episode, I'm going to be showing you how we built this massive retaining wall, so stay tuned. Welcome to Fix This House. Thank you so much, friends, for tuning in. This is a continuation of our dream home build series, and like what I mentioned in the last episode, we were going to build this retaining wall. This is not your typical DIY that you can do at home easily. This requires a lot of planning and a lot of engineering work, and also a lot of excavating. I will break it down on what it took us to make this wall happen, what equipment we used, and if you're interested, stay tuned at the very end because I'm going to go over the price breakdown on how much this wall costs if you are planning to build something like this on your property. Now, to build a massive wall like this, you can't just go take your excavator, start digging, and start piling on some bricks. You definitely need to let your land engineer know that you are going to be doing work like this. It's not completely flat. There are little humps, little hills here and there that we need to consult with the engineer in order to figure out how many bricks, how far away from the slope, and different types of areas and elevations that you need to work on, and so that you're in compliance with your local codes without violating any county laws or whatnot. So when I mention brick, I mean one piece like this. So that's 1 foot high, 2 feet wide, and 2 feet deep. Now, per our land engineer, they said that in order for you to put this, you have to put a geo grid. There are many different types and manufacturers of geo grids out there. The one that we ended up using was the HP 200 uniaxial, and the measurement was 12 feet by 150 feet long. Now, and I'll show you in a few video clips on how we place that and how you properly put that geo grid on. Now, looking at this wall, we are not yet complete. I am 5 foot by 9, and we are trying to go a couple of more feet. By the way you see this height, we are adding about 3 more and staggering into stair steps all the way down. And once we finish that, we are going to put some fencing over it just so that we can be safe and not fall over in case we're trying to drive right through here, because we are going to be using this as a driveway on each end so that we can accomplish that to go up there. The machinery that we ended up using was a skid steer. This was very helpful when pushing out the dirt and using that to fill in the different hollow spots and filling up the land. We ended up using around a 2.5 to 3 ton excavator. This was very helpful, using that to lift up all these bricks out of the truck and into the side and start placing them one by one. The other tools was very helpful was a compactor, a leaf blower, leveler, which I'll show you right here, that we ended up using. This one's very helpful because you can just go onto each section and it will beep so that we know that this is nice and leveled before we start stacking the rest of the bricks. Now I'm going to go over some drone aerial footage, time lapse. Hopefully you enjoy. Make sure you stick right through because I'm going to go over the pricing after this one. Okay, so now we're at the part that you all have been waiting for, and that is the price. How much is it to build a wall like this in your area? So unfortunately, I can't really give you a definite answer because depending on where your location is, how big your project is, how much material you need, and also how far do you live from the nearest site where they can actually pick up the fill dirt and deliver it to you. How far are they making these bricks, and how far is the travel, the mileage that you have to consider. So there are many variables when it comes to price, but I can definitely give you some general ideas on what to look out for and what you're going to end up spending if you are going to rent out some equipment, and how much these prices of these bricks and fill dirt are. This project took us about 1 week to finish because depending on the weather, we do live here in Washington and it rains a lot. We cannot accomplish this work when it's raining because it's going to be like picking up mud and placing on top of a brick wall, and that's not going to work. So we have to find those dry days. So this took us about 1 week to finish. You can rent out any of these equipment in your local big box stores, Home Depot, Lowe's, or wherever you can find a supply company. A skid steer will typically cost you around $1,100 to rent out for a week. If you want to rent it out for 4 hours, it'll cost you around $250 to $300. If you want to rent it out daily, it's around $380 to $400. Now again, these are just estimated price depending on where your location is. Now for the excavator, probably is the same amount as the skid steer. Now let's get to the pricing of each brick. Now when I mention brick, that's when I mention right here. Now one brick is 1 foot, 2 foot, 2 foot deep. Now each brick cost me around 100 to 150 between there. So that's $100 to 150 each brick. Now if you, depending on also if you order a massive amount, you can definitely get a bigger discount. My contractor who helped me build this wall got definitely a good hookup, a good price, because we ended up using 260 bricks total. Now we are definitely not finished with this wall yet. I am going to order more of the bricks because the manufacturer ran out. So once we get that brick going, we are going to continue on building the wall, which is little minor tweaks here and there. Probably build it up 2 more feet and go around the hill on the right side. Also, make sure you plan everything out accordingly so that all the stars will align, so that you don't end up re-renting any of the materials, because that will definitely cost you a lot more when you go and re-rent any excavator, skid steer, or you're gonna go have to order more of the bricks, because that will definitely add up, because you're gonna be paying more for the truck deliveries. Truck deliveries will definitely add up because those deliveries are not cheap. The fill dirt will cost you around $5 to $25 per cubic yard and $4 to $15 to get it delivered. The cost varies because depending on the type of dirt that you're ordering, the volume, and the distance away that you are ordering these materials from. Hopefully, friends, you got a good general idea on how much is it to build this wall, the amount of time that it takes, the machinery and tooling that you need, and definitely the cost price. I'd like to say a special thank you to Chris and his family, and also his buddies and friends who helped us build this massive wall. We couldn't have done this without you, friends, so thank you so much. If you're interested on hiring him or just getting some general pricing or get a quote, I'll leave all his information on the description down below. Check him out. Once again, friends, thanks so much for tuning in. Building this wall was so amazing. I've never experienced something massive project like this before. So very exciting to see our dream home build slowly starting to actually form, even though I know it's not the house, but we finally got this divide, and I can't wait to put a fence over it. And again, this wall is not yet complete. Stay tuned for part 2 on building and finishing up this retaining wall. Thank you so much, friends. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit that big thumbs up, subscribe, notification bell, and I'll see you, friends, on the next video.